This is Haley Jackson, the College and Career Counselor at Dickinson High School. This is a series that is designed to help juniors or anyone trying to go through the process of starting their college applications at Dickinson High School and kind of keeping track of making sure that they're on top of all of the requirements. So I'm going to show you some helpful tools. We're going to start out by showing you the College and Career Center page where I've tried to keep all of the kind of step process and all the links that you might need to go through in order to apply to college. And so when you're on the Symbolu page of the home screen, you can get to our Dickinson College and Career Center website right here on this icon. If you are going through the main Dickinson High School page, and so in this case, going through the DIC page and going to our campus, on the left-hand side, it is a quick link under right here is College and Career Center. So however you choose to get here, this is the College and Career Center website where it does have our contact information for myself and Mr. Del Luna. He's our College Connections Advisor for College of the Mainland. So if you're planning on going to College of the Mainland, he's a good contact, but he also is very helpful in just applying to college in general. So down here are all of the tabs that might be helpful to you, but the main one we're going to talk about today is the college application tab. So when I click on college applications, it's going to go step by step. So my very first step is going to be to do the apply area. So depending on what school you're planning on going to, you may need to do the Apply Texas application if it's a public school in Texas. A lot of our private schools will use a common application. And then there's also one called Coalition, which is fairly new. It's been around for a couple of years now. That's another option as well. So when you're choosing to go to apply to your schools, you really do need to find the school where the application is similar among whichever one you choose. So for example, if all of yours are public schools in Texas, you're probably going to want to use the Apply Texas application. If you wanted to go to maybe some public and some private, you may want to look at the common application or the coalition application to see if those schools that are public also fall into those applications, so that you're really just using one platform to apply to all of them, so that you don't have to keep track of multiple logins. So once you've figured out which one, all these are hyperlinked to go to the site. So in this case, the Apply Texas site, you are going to have to create an account. So in this process, that's probably the most frustrating for students, is making sure to keep track of all of the accounts that they may need to log into. So this would be the first one, and we're going to tell you about several more accounts that you might need logins for as well. So in this case, if you're in the Apply Texas application and before you get started, there is an option to preview an application so that you can have an idea of what is going to be asked before you get into it. So if you want, previewing that application might be helpful. You would use the U.S. freshman application so that you can see kind of what is a sample. So this says Texas A&M. Realize that it's a sample application real big here, so you're not applying and doing anything besides just kind of testing out what kind of questions they may choose to ask you. So that might be a good place to start if you're really new to the application process. And especially if before the applications even have opened. Most applications are going to open up as early but not until July 1st. So if you're starting this process now, you might want to look at the sample one before you get too heavy into actually doing an application on the Apply Texas site. So if I go back to the College and Career Center page, so once you've applied to your school, then you do have to send your scores, your SAT or ACT scores, to those four-year universities. If you're planning on applying to a two-year university, you can choose to still take the SAT and ACT, but they do not require the SAT and the ACT in order for admissions to your colleges. To your colleges, what they're going to require is your TSI to place you into your English or your math class. And actually, your four-year universities might also require your TSI depending on your SAT and your ACT scores. So that's the information I put right here. And then also some tips in order to, if you have taken your TSI before, those four-year universities, again, if you don't meet the qualifications for college readiness for SAT or ACT scores, then they're going to want to see your TSI score. So you may have one if we've tested you for college readiness, or if you've taken the TSI for dual credit purposes. You may have a TSI score that you want to go ahead and send them. So that's the instructions on how to send those scores through those sites. So they are going to need an SAT or ACT score. In another video that's going to be posted is about how to register for the SAT and the ACT, and your options to send your scores before you ever actually apply, because you do have the option to send 4 SAT scores free during your registration process. After your registration, unless you're applying using a fee waiver for your SAT, they are going to charge you to send your scores after 9 days. After your scores are available, then, or 9 days after your test is taken, then you won't be able to send them those free score reports anymore. You'd have to pay to send them. So this is where you would send your SAT or ACT scores. They will not accept them typically from any other source besides directly from the SAT or ACT company. And then TSI, they will typically take those scores from you. So if you get your score report and you send them to their admissions office, typically they'll accept that score report as long as it has your name and then the giving institution, whatever school gave you the TSI. Okay. So as far as paying for your application, so typically there's some schools that don't require a fee to apply, but your school may. So you do have to have a fee paid. If you do qualify for free lunch, then you do have the option to get a fee waiver. So if you took the SAT with a fee waiver, then you have 4 free college application fee waivers in your College Board account that you can print, sign, and then send to your institution. Your institution may, or your college may ask for you to put them, send them an email to their admissions office, or they may have a portal that you can upload that fee waiver into your account once you've applied. So the other option, if you did not take the SAT with a fee waiver, but you do qualify for free lunch, the option to use the NACAC fee waiver is still available to you. It does have to be signed by your counselor. So this is a link to that form and then some instructions about how that form works. So another requirement of a college application may be letters of recommendation. They may be optional, but if you're going to end up being in holistic review, meaning you don't meet the automatic admissions requirement based on your SAT or ACT score and your GPA or rank, then letters of rec might be something you need to consider putting with your application. So I gave you just a few tips on how to request a letter of rec, and then also what you might need to give your recommender in order for them to write a really stellar recommendation for you. Another requirement may be the essay. So the Apply Texas and the Common App do have set essay prompts. If it's a public school in Texas, they're probably going to ask you to submit one of the Apply Texas essay prompts. So they'll say whether it's going to be option essay A, B, or C, or they may give you the choice of which one you want to choose. So this would be a good opportunity right now if you're a junior going into the application season, but you're not quite there yet. We're before July 1st. It would be a good idea to go ahead and start crafting the essay, one of the essay choices, and maybe check and see which essay choice your college has asked for in the past, and get that ready to go. That's usually the most daunting task of applying to college is writing the essay. It's usually the most common reason why a student hasn't submitted their application yet, because they're still working on that essay. So be on the ground floor and go ahead and get that done now. Get that done through the summer so that whenever you're ready, the application opens up, your essay is already crafted and ready to go. So one of the last steps that you have to do is submit your high school transcript. And this is, besides, the essay is usually the reason why a student has not submitted their application, but the high school transcript is usually the reason why you're not getting your admissions decision, and why you're not seeing anything moving forward with your application once you thought you submitted everything, and that's getting your high school transcript sent to them. So the only way you can officially send a high school transcript to a college is through our Naviance. That makes it official. We do offer the opportunity for you to download unofficial transcripts from Skyward in the portfolio section, but it is not going to be official, and typically a college won't accept unofficial transcripts. So the only way you can do that is through Naviance. So when you click on the Naviance tab, it is going to send you into the Google login, and you'll log in with your Google account. If you have questions about how to do that, there is a handy video down here, as well as instructions on how to request your transcript. So make sure you follow through with that so that you're able to get that last piece typically, besides sending your SAT scores or some other one that's forgotten a lot of times. They think they're already there and they're not, to get an application complete so they can actually make a decision about your admissions. So this is kind of first in a series of videos to kind of help you with that process. So please visit this page and kind of use these handy tools. There are some ways in Naviance to keep track of which applications you've submitted, and then also get some links to the sites for those schools. So that will be in our next series video. Thank you.